Hello everybody, my name is Ankit Bargad and I'm a 7th grader from Acton, Massachusetts. First and foremost, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
So the first speaker we will be having today is Advay Goel. He is also a 7th grader from Acton, Massachusetts. He likes basketball, math, and playing football. Also, he is very interested in public speaking. Advay will be speaking about
Global climate change.
global climate change. Please welcome Advay to speak about global climate change.
Okay, good evening everybody. My name is Advay Goel and I'm a rising 7th grader from Acton. Before I start, I'd like to make sure, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I would also like to thank Ankit for the introduction that he gave me. And as he said, today I will be talking about global climate change. My 3 points will be 1, what is global climate change? 2, the effects of this, and 3, what we can do to help stop this. So I'm pretty sure you've all heard of global climate change in one way or another. But you've most likely heard of it in its most famous name, global warming. So although global warming is one way to think of it, it is actually kind of a misconception. Because global warming signifies to a person that the only effect of global climate change is the fact that the overall temperature of the Earth is rising. However, this is not true. The main effect of global climate change is that the overall climate in many places in the world is changing. The amount of heat that one place is getting is just one factor that goes into climate. So this is why many environmentalists say that we should use the term global climate change and not global warming. So global climate change started in the late 1800s and early 1900s when the Industrial Revolution began. During this time, we started burning fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, and oil. When burned, fossil fuels release carbon dioxide, a toxic gas, which then goes into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is an example of a greenhouse gas. Other examples of greenhouse gases are nitrous oxide and methane. What greenhouse gases do is they basically amplify the greenhouse effect. What this is it allows the sun's heat and light to stay in Earth. So without any of our greenhouse gases, the Earth would be a cold wasteland, as no heat or light would be in Earth. It would all just bounce back into space. But now, too many of these greenhouse gases is also very, very bad. I said earlier that the heat isn't the only effect of global climate change, but it pretty much drives all the others. So the most staggering effect of global climate change is the fact of how quickly the sea levels are rising. In fact, scientists say that by 2100, only 80 years away, the ocean levels will rise a staggering 4 to 6 feet. So in 4 to 6 feet. This means that many coastal cities like Boston or Miami will be in high danger because of flooding. This is because the overall temperature in the two poles is rising and rising. This is causing major ice caps in Greenland and Antarctica to melt. And as a result, all this melted water is just gushing into the ocean. One thing that this also does is it ruins the ratio between salt and fresh water. Many fish have already adapted to their natural surroundings, meaning that they're used to the amount of salt that they have in their water. But now all this extra fresh water that's being added will completely change the environment. This means that many fish will not be able to adapt to their environment quick enough and will therefore die out. And this brings me to my next point. The food web will completely collapse because the environment is changing so quickly that animals won't be able to adapt. So the way this works, if one animal dies out, like I said, a fish, will die out, as every single animal in the food web is related in one way to another. You'll have a domino effect of animal after animal after animal just dying out because of starvation and too many predators. So, another effect of global climate change is that hurricanes will become much more significant, and they'll happen a lot more. This is because the Arctic sea ice in the far east is starting to melt, and the far north is starting to melt. So this Arctic sea ice is white, meaning that all the sunlight that comes to it reflects back into outer space. But now, since the temperature is rising, that Arctic sea ice is starting to melt, revealing the almost pitch black ocean beneath it. So, black absorbs heat, and this means that once the Arctic sea ice is completely gone, the ocean will just absorb water and heat. So, what this means is that since hurricanes fuel on warm water, the hurricanes will become much more common and will even be able to sustain themselves on the coast. Since right now along the coast, you usually have colder water. But now, since the temperature of the ocean is rising and rising, eventually the coastal water will become warm enough to sustain hurricanes, meaning that they'll be able to go on the coast and just wipe it all out. So this will cause a lot more damage to coastal cities, like again, Miami and Boston. So, as you've seen, there are so many effects of global climate change. There must be something that we can do. Well, there are many things that we can do as a community in order to help stop global climate change before it completely ruins our environment. The first one is using less energy. This means using less electricity. So what this means is that you could use more efficient light bulbs so you're not wasting excess electricity, or you could turn off the TV when not in use. You may not know this, but 75% of electricity that's created actually comes when fossil fuels are burnt. So the more electricity that we use, the more fossil fuels we are burning. So another thing that we can do to help our planet is to not take our automobiles every single place we go. For example, if I just had to come to this clubhouse, for me, I'm in the same neighborhood, so I could just bike or walk there instead. You have less automobiles on the road, meaning that you have less greenhouse gases burnt. But say you had to take an automobile, then you could take the public transportation. Yes, it may take 10 to 15 minutes longer, but you still have less automobiles on the street. And as a result, you have less cars and less fossil fuels being burnt. But now these little things are not going to completely help fix global climate change. No, it's become much too of a problem for that. In order to stop global climate change, we have to fix our ways of burning fossil fuels. So this means we have to switch to renewable energy that doesn't give off toxic chemical gases when burned. So far, scientists have invested in a lot of renewable sources of energy. The one that's gone the most well for them is solar power. Right now, solar power is being used to power houses everywhere. I mean, everyone is going solar now. So what solar power does is, instead of using electricity to generate your home, you're getting everything from the sun. Other sources of renewable energy that we're starting to use is hydropower. So hydropower comes from water. Although scientists haven't had much luck with this source of energy yet, they're saying that in the near future, we might just have coastal cities like Boston and Miami be completely run by the ocean. Another source of renewable energy is wind power. So wind power is captured by wind turbines that, when rotated by the wind, create electricity. Say, what did the wind turbine say when he heard about using renewable energy? I'm a big fan! But the renewable energy that's gone best for scientists so far, above all, is hydrogen. Scientists even call it the fuel of the future. This is because when burnt, hydrogen actually gives off a byproduct of water. And water is a very natural element on Earth, so it will not cause any harm. The only problem with hydrogen right now is the fact that it is highly flammable. Because of this, many things could easily set flames, and that's the only kink that scientists have to work out before we work on a completely hydrogen-filled world. So, one thing for you to remember is that every single animal is now dying out. Us humans are also part of the food web. That means that we are not going to be left unprotected from all the dangers of global climate change. Today, I talked about 3 points. 1, what is global climate change? 2, the effects of this. And 3, what we can do to stop it. So another way to take everything into perspective is, the Earth is about 4.6 billion years old. For now, let's take that as 46 years old. That means that us humans came on about 4 hours ago, and the Industrial Revolution began merely 1 second ago. In this 1 second, we have destroyed more than 50% of the Earth's forests due to all the extra wildfires that we have caused and because of all the extra timber we have cut down. But for you, right now, what we have to do in order to help save our planet is to remember the 3 R's. Reuse, reduce, and recycle. If we can follow this, for now, our Earth will be in very, very good shape. Thank you.